Hi, welcome back to Colonel D Gourmet and Spices. Today we're going to be celebrating the month of May with Burger Month. So what we're going to be doing today is doing an homage of the almighty burger. So we're going to be starting off, we're going to be going into a theory-based things. So burger is obviously broken down in so many different ways. From the bun to the burger, to the toppings, to the condiments, you know, to every little bit in between. The beauty of the burger is that it can be absolutely gourmet, over the top. It can be so simple. So we're going to start off just by talking about the buns. So a lot of times people go with a potato, an onion, a brioche. Sometimes they'll even go into like a standard white bread. That was actually how the first burger was made. From that, you put that in there, a good caramelization, butter pat on there, good, nice, nice and toasty. Next thing we're going to talk about is the meat. So a lot of people use the standard 80-20 meat. I personally like to use an 85-15 and then mix it up with a little bit of brisket and some bacon. So we're working with the ratios. A lot of times when you get into your more gourmet burgers, that's what they're doing. They're going to be doing a nice mixture of meat. Sometimes they'll use a combination of the chuck, tri-tip, and a little bit of pork belly. And this is just going to help bring out more flavor, add more richness. Sometimes people even use bone marrow, they'll even use short rib, and it's just what you like and how you want to develop that flavor. So today we're going to start off by using a couple of seasonings. I'm going to show you a couple of techniques with the burger. First technique I'm going to be showing you is the standard lay on the ground, get it nice and hot. And this technique right here is just a kind of what you find more in your fast food kind of style. It's really nice and quick, but it brings out a lot of flavor. Now you can do burgers on the grill, you can do it on skillet, which adds a nice bit of caramelization. But if you want to get a nice smoky flavor with that charcoal or wood chips with the burger, it's really, really good that way. What I'm going to do, I'm going to let this sit on here for about 30 seconds. I want to develop the sense of caramelization. And this is very important. And as you can tell, there's a little bit of ridges going on. A lot of times, especially as you've been cooking burgers before, it starts to build up right here in the middle. So what I'm going to do is make a nice indentation, nice little dent. And this is going to help keep the burger flat. So I'm going to pair this burger today with a little bit of caramelized onions. So I'm going to get these going. And I'm going to put a nice little twist on this. I'm going to make these into balsamic onions. This is going to add a nice little bit of tartness to the burger. And I'm going to make a special mayo using our famous Deeds Dust. So with that, I'm going to use the Deeds Dust. I'm going to use about a teaspoon of this in here. And I'm going to use this at a later point today as well, because we are going to be making some nice kangaroo burgers on top of that. So I add my teaspoon in there, grab my whisk, I'm going to mix this up. And this is a real simple, a lot of times places will use a nice garlic aioli, using roasted garlic or whatever, but the beauty of the mayo and the beauty of all burgers is all going to depend on all the toppings you're going to be putting in there. And that's what's really going to make the true essence of the burger. A lot of people will be a purist and just do a little bit of salt, pepper, and some cheese on there, but not in this city. Alright, so now I got my mayo down. I'm going to thin this out a little bit by adding a dash of white vinegar. Just help bring out a nice little bit of tartness, and it's going to be a nice little spicy kick with that Deeds Dust. And this is going to be a nice thinning out process, and I'm going to transfer this into a squirt bottle. Oh yeah, that's good. So I'm going back to these onions, seeing how they look. Getting nice and soft, and getting nice and sweated. So now I'm going to add my balsamic vinegar. What I'm going to do, make sure I'm going to keep this balsamic vinegar tossing onions in there. It's gonna get real nice and sweet, nice and tart. Sometimes you might want to step back because these onions, especially with that vinegar in there, have a tendency to make it choke up a little bit. So as you can see, it's caramelized right on top of there. I'm going to set these aside. So now I'm looking at my burger. Looking pretty good. I'm going to give this a nice smash down. Because that's what fast food style techniques. We're going to be doing mostly well done burgers. Now, when you get into higher quality meats, you want to be looking at medium at best with your temperature and how you like your doneness. So going from that, we're going to pay another homage to the world of bacon. This is a nice maple smoked bacon, maple cured bacon I should say. I'm going to get this nice and warmed up. And how I'm going to do that, I'm going to add a nice little steaming effect. You will find that the steaming effect with burgers is probably one of the most closest techniques used within every single person that kind of ties every little burger joint to a whole. Alright, so I got that going. Just going to keep things nice and warm and have time to transfer this over into my squirt bottle. And this is going to be make sure when I set up the squirt bottle, I'm going to be set to cook for a lot of people. And when you're doing burgers, a lot of times you're going to be cooking for a good amount of people, especially at a backyard barbecue. Which takes me to the next level of burger combinations. So, burger is one of those things that really kind of shows you what kind of city you're from, or what part of the region of the country you're in. A lot of times you'll find a southwestern burger paired up with a little bit of barbecue sauce, maybe an onion ring of sorts, crispy onion strings, some barbecue sauce, bacon, and a fried egg. Call it a day. A lot of places are starting to use more like a Mexican kind of technique. Use a little bit of guacamole, use a little bit of pico de gallo, and use a mole base within the spice mix. Okay, now that I'm getting ready to get the red cheese on there, everything's looking good. I checked underneath. Using a standard classic American cheese. Bring out my tongs. Put it back right underneath there. A lot of times you'll add that whole steaming effect. Again, I'm going to get a little bit of water here. Now you want to make sure at this point in time you want to be in a vented area because that steam is created by a whole bunch of grease and it's going to actually get up onto your ceilings or into your lights. Alright, but as you can see, look at that perfection. Now we get into the argument of ketchup versus mustard. Personally, I don't see any issues with going with both. But depending on where part of the country you live in, some people like to do just mustard, some people just like ketchup. But in this case, we're going to do both. Bigger bun. Get that nice and toasted up a little bit, real quick. I'm just going to make sure it has that nice little caramelization. Got a little bit there. Top. Usually you'll go with a little bit of lettuce, tomato, onion with this as well. But we're just going to go with the onion. So I'm going to put that balsamic onions top my burger. A strip of bacon. And let's go 2 strips just because it's bacon. And leave this off the side still, just in case I'm going to be preparing some more burgers. Knowing me, I probably will. Alright, burger. We can't forget our mayo. You don't want to overload it, but you want to get a nice amount on there. Got it. Top it with our bun. And now you got a classic diner, dive bar, whatever, style burger. Cut it in half. Serve it. Done. That is the technique of the diner burger.